they bought Activision, so now they own all of that IP, and then that can't go anywhere else, or all the old IP is now all in one place. But it kind of was anyway because Activision already had it. So
Yeah, that's true.
all the old Atari stuff and all that. So they have all that now. I don't know. I mean, it will depend because if Xbox ends up being bad in some way that does something we don't like, well, they have all that IP and they can do whatever they want with it. So something that we liked from a long time ago, something might happen
Could
to
come
it,
back.
or
Yeah.
they might decide not to make whatever that maybe Activision on its own would have. But
Mm.
honestly, I trust Xbox more than I would have Activision. So at this point, but who
Yes.
knows? You don't know.
Well,
So
yeah. Yeah.
you Derek?
Yeah, like I can't think of any bad part of this. It's yeah, I guess the point of like a lot of studios having issues and layoffs and closing down, it could be like an early clue to the side effects of this, but to me it only seems good. It seems good for gamers, seems good for Microsoft certainly, and seems good for the three of us. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
would
mean,
say at this point, it's yet to be seen. Hopefully, no.
yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
bad.
I mean,
yeah.
the one bad thing is that Microsoft's going to take 10 times the amount of flack if anything goes wrong, though. Now they're going to be,
Yeah.
if the next Call of Duty sucks ass, they're going to be like, "Oh, Microsoft
It's
fucking
because
ruined it."
Microsoft took it over. Yes, yeah, no,
So they're
yeah,
going to get a lot of, they're going to get a lot more heat than they would have otherwise. So
Or, I mean, one thing could be that they spent a lot of money on it, and maybe that made it so that they couldn't do some other things they were going to do, or
yeah,
maybe
that's
some
true too.
jobs
Yeah.
needed to go or something because of all that money they spent. And if they're not recouping it quick enough, some layoffs might happen. So that's another thing, possibly.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. Like none of us have crystal balls. Well, my
Oh, you don't
balls
have a
are
crystal ball? Oh,
my balls are
you should get
crystal.
one of those. They're pretty
It's not a
cool.
crystal
Hey,
ball.
No, no,
whoa,
So
no, no,
yes,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah. So we went there. But anyway,
Tiff,
uh, so Altius, great question for once. So if any of questions or feedback, give us a
for
call,
once.
773-527-2961 or email us at podcast@tooledtoplay.com. And on that, why don't we move on over to what we're playing? Seldon, what have you been playing this week?
I have been continuing on in my adventures in Harry Potter. Really liking that game. It's got a lot of side quests. I'm
You
getting
a
a little.
Hufflepuff or what?
I went
What are you?
Ravenclaw.
Ah,
Yeah, I
I
did
went the
too.
Ravenclaw. So I almost
Yeah,
went Slytherin, but I decided Ravenclaw is the way I want to go. So,
yeah,
um, but yeah, the DLC. There's announcements of DLC coming and stuff like that, which is great.
yeah.
Some of the PlayStation exclusives are being released. I think the Halloween theme, something or another.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. But still working my way through, building my wizard, getting my spells, solving the puzzles. So chasing down keys and shit like that. So having a fun time with that. And then the game that dropped yesterday, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about it. But Pal World, I got into Pal World and I've been enjoying the shit out of that game.
Yeah.
I know
yeah.
it's they classify it as the meme game of Pokemon with
With
guns,
guns.
but
Yeah.
I really see it more of it's more of an arc style game with Pokemon in it
And
it's
guns.
and guns
So
and
are they actually, they're not actually Pokemon because
No,
not
no,
Nintendo, but
no,
they just
but
seem,
there
they
are
just seem
some that
like
are
it.
if
they're
you
so
remember
similar.
originally this game, they were, and then there was some
Oh,
legal
really?
action, and then
Yeah.
things were changed. But
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
when this
there's
was like we saw the first videos of this, it was a
Just
rip off.
Pokemon.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
well, it's still pretty much a ripoff. There's definitely a mouse
Changed it
that has
just enough.
electricity type of creature that's out there with a big lightning bolt on him.
Mm.
But it's animated in the style of almost like
Mikachu?
a Zelda, it's
No.
almost like a Zelda style cell shading too, and the sound effects in the background are very Zelda like. So it's really got a lot of elements from a lot of different games that are coming into it. It's been a shit ton of fun so far that I've been playing it. So
So
What kind of game is it?
stolen from Nintendo.
it's
Yes,
it's
yeah.
more of an arc I would say it's more of an
Well,
arc
you say
survival type
arc,
of
but I don't
game.
really know. Like, is it like so
Uh,
is it's
It's
third
a
person, I'm assuming, and
yes, it's third person. And it's survival based. So
okay.
you got to build your bases. You got incoming
Okay.
hordes that attack you, and you got
It's
to level
kind
up
of
your
Fortnite-y a little bit.
skills. Nah,
Well,
not
you don't level
really.
up on
Nah,
Fortnite, do you?
no.
Okay.
You level up. You build your bases. You advance your pals, and it's you advance your skills through skill trees and things
Your
like that. So
Pokemon.
Yes, yeah, your
so
mons. Yes, yeah,
yeah.
your
Your
So
pals. Oh, my
it's
little
an
your
it's
pocket
pals.
monsters.
Yes.
and it sold really well on Steam. It's on Game Pass right now, so
Yeah.
and it's hit a big time user base already. So
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
highly
might as well
recommend if
try
you
it.
give it a try. So
You have Game Pass, might as well.
might as well.
My son might like that, but I don't know. Sounds like well, I mean, he already plays stuff that's violent, probably in Roblox. So
Yeah. Oh, that's
but
I
true
would
too. Yes, yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't put it
yeah.
as a violent game, but
Okay.
it's definitely I could see kids
Yeah,
playing
Says the
this.
guy with a
Fortnite.
giant 16-inch knife that kills trees. So yeah,
18-inch.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm
18
sorry,
inch.
sorry.
Excuse me.
Shrinkage.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah.
18.
But
All right,
that's pretty much
shrinkage.
all. That's pretty much all I've been playing. How about you, there, Mister Shadow?
So I went through and I decided to just kind of go back and I was going to start the new Star Wars game, but I started it and then
The
I played
Skywalker
about
Saga. That one.
no the new Star Wars the Jedi Survivor.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
was going to play that. I started about an hour of that and I just stopped. I'm like, if I get into this, it's going to be 30 hours or whatever it's going to be. Like, I'm going to go back and just kind of play some like small games that I can finish and just kind of stuff that's been sitting on my back burner for a while. I'm a backlog. So I played Lego Pirates, finished that up. I played Cocoon all the way
But
through,
these
which
Lego
is really
games
good.
have like 30 hours of gameplay.
Nah, nah. Especially the old ones. Some of them might. Some of them might. Like Skywalker Saga probably it has all the games, right? I know
Yes,
that
yeah,
the
yeah.
original the original Star Wars saga with all
Lego
the
Star
first
Wars.
six
Yes,
games,
yeah, yeah.
that took forever. But this is like Lego Pirates is very short. I played Cocoon all the way through, which I liked that a lot. That was
That
a
was a
really good
fun game.
game.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
that one. So
I'd recommend that. It's very short. You can probably beat it in like you can beat it all the way through with all the collectibles. There aren't that many, and maybe 4 hours, 5 hours tops, I would imagine. And it's on Game Pass, so can't beat that. I played Telling Lies, which is a game by the person who made Her Story, and they
Oh,
also
okay.
made
Yep, yep.
uh something was with an
Oh,
I,
no.
like Invincibility or
Oh, I know
is
what you're
that
talking about. And now,
Inevitability or something like that.
yeah,
I forget what it
you've
was.
broken me by saying these
Yeah.
wrong words, but yes, I
Yeah,
know exactly what you're
invincibility,
talking about.
inevitability,
those are
yeah,
the
whatever it is.
real life video integrated games?
Yeah,
Or
so
Yes, yeah,
okay,
they're
yeah, yeah.
FMV video. Yeah. So Her Story isn't on Xbox, but this was on and I bought it at some point for super cheap. And it's a game where you go in and you're sitting at a computer. You sit down, your actual character sits down on the computer screen and you just screw it on the computer trying to solve this crime. Like you're a detective and you have this thumb drive full of or not if you're a detective, you're not. You're just trying to solve this mystery or this whatever this person did. You don't know what they did, you don't know who did it, and you kind of have to just watch all these videos, and then when the subtitles come up, you can click on them and search on different words in the subtitles and search for more videos that go with those and just kind of keep going through it. And it's interesting. It's not an action game. It's definitely a just kind of if you like deducing things, it's kind of cool. So
Yeah.
it's can be short, it can be long, depends how long it takes you to get through them all and decide what are because you don't know what terms to search for, so you have to kind of just jump around. And it's interesting though. It has some people, a couple people that I knew. One girl from Westworld was on it.
Yeah, okay.
Another one was on it too that I don't know her name, but I know her. A guy who looks a lot like Tom Hardy. I thought it was Tom Hardy at first, but it's not. But he looks just like him. But
Close
anyway,
enough.
so then yeah, but it was a pretty cool game and finished that. And Lego Force Awakens, I had started with my son years ago and I just never finished it. So I had about half done. I finished that. Then I
The
started to
question is, did you
expand.
finish it with him or did you blow him off?
I didn't finish it with him because he
Mm.
probably wouldn't have wanted to play it right now. He's too into his Fortnites and stuff right now. So, but
Fair enough.
yeah, maybe in the future play more. I started the Expanse Telltale series game. I
Oh, yeah.
started
Yeah, I've heard
maybe
of
like
it.
an hour and a half of that. Yeah, I'm gonna
Good
definitely go
stuff.
through and
Yeah,
finish that.
nice.
And I just popped on the Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed game, which I started that. Seems really fun. I'll definitely play it out with my son though at some point. But the
Nice.
problem with that one, it's not a problem, but it doesn't have uh same screen co-op, so you have to be on different systems, which is
Yeah.
fine. We can do that. It would have been nice to play in the same room, but not a huge deal. But you can just go in and start like busting ghosts and uh taking
Bustin' makes you feel
contracts and
good.
stuff.
Yeah.
It does. It makes me feel good.
Bustin'
So
makes
that's
you
what I
feel
that's
good.
what I've been working on this
Yeah.
week. How about you,
Nice.
Derek?
Not a whole lot of shit. Monopoly Go on my phone, and then I did tried another few songs in Fortnite Festival, which is the Harmonix connection, like fake
Mhm.
rock bandy thing that does not yet support guitars, but it will sometime in the near future.
That's a new thing, is
Uh,
what they say.
yeah,
That's
so
why they're
it's
stopping Rock Band.
yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah, that was kind of the story that came out is that they're
yeah,
stopping DLC for Rock Band because of
yeah.
the Fortnite game.
They've
Fortnite
been putting
Festival's the
out
place to
Rock Band
be.
DLC every week for
For like
Yeah.
8 years.
fucking
Isn't that
years.
crazy?
It's
Yeah.
like I told Tiff, I was like, that's the end of an era, and she's like, wait, they're still putting out DLC, and she was the one that was writing stories for the website Rock Band Aid for a while before she came to Tool to Play and all this other. So that Harmonix treated that game right. But yeah, now
Yeah.
it's time for them to move on to their new overlords at Epic and create new content. And like there was also all the content for Fuser. I don't know if you guys ever got into Fuser or
Mm.
oh, it was like the belle of the ball at PAX East like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's a super fun another music game where you collect different pieces and connect them together uh, and kind of put on a show. And I really love that game as well. So I've always been huge into the rock band stuff. So yeah, yeah.
Um, but Rock Band's it came out, then it went away, and then it came back, and then it ran for 8 more years, I think. Like
Uh, well,
it
no,
had the
they
first
did
right?
they did Rock Band 2, Rock Band 3, and then Rock Band
Yeah.
4 was the one that
And then
ran for 8 years. Yes, yeah.
okay, I thought there was like a break or something. They had like stopped and then they decided to they come back and bring more DLC and then they just ran with it for a while. Okay.
No, no, Rock
I could
Band's
be
been
wrong.
pretty steady. It was Guitar Hero that took a break, and then they came back with Guitar Hero World Tour. So they took a few years off because Rock Band was kicking their ass. So they did Guitar Hero 2, and then there was a
3.
hiatus, and then they came back. So yeah,
Okay.
but we love those
Well,
games. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, kudos to them. Nobody can say they didn't support that game.
No, certainly not. So yes, yeah,
Yeah.
but
I just want to know the guy that sat in the closet coding those songs for 8 years is like, I gotta pop out another one. Hold on a second.
yeah. So we actually know some people who were Tiff's friends from the rock band community that got hired by Harmonix as contractors that were charting those. That's what they call it, charting, where you line the dots up with the song,
Right.
and they worked there for years and years charting those songs. They charted hundreds, if not thousands, of songs. Because if you have a music background, it's much easier for you to do that than someone with a computer science background.
Yeah.
But they would eye songs, and they would have to do it for beginner and intermediate, like all those levels, and do that. And it's if you think about how much work that is, it's insane for like the $3 that someone's going to pay you for that
Yeah.
song. Yeah,
Yeah.
And the people that still have it and are still
yeah.
buying it weekly, and they're not going to buy it every week. So,
No, exactly. Yeah. So
jeez.
yeah, we have friends. They came to our wedding. So yeah. But yeah, so there are people that Harmonix had outsourced that to as contractors. But I can see why this doesn't scale, especially as a game gets 8 years old and you're trying to figure out how to continue to get revenue off of something that you sell for $3 a song, but you have to pay someone to chart that song. So it's yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough. But now that they have all that Epic money, they can just keep doing Fortnite festival songs. So, yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, on that, why don't we move on over to new releases? First new release out this week is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, out for the Xbox, the PlayStation, the Switch, and the PC. This is a harken back to old school Prince of Persia games, except that they have done so much mocap in this game that even though it's like a 2D side scroller kind of game like Prince of Persia always has been, and even Jordan Mechner
Not
back in the
always.
day in Prince of Persia 1, that original climbing mechanic of jumping up and climbing up the next level, that was all early mocap. But this is, they have done, like, I think they said 200, 300, 400 hours of mocap for a side scrolling game where you only ever get really the side view of the character. It looks
Wow.
phenomenal. I loved these games back in the day, and this might be my kind of game that goes kind of dips in my Vampire Survivors. Like, it's not like you don't have to put in hundreds of hours. You can just go have some fun, kick some ass,
Sure.
and then carry on. But yeah, it looks fantastic. So I am this is on my short list of things I may pick up. So
Yeah, I may also. I loved growing up. Let's see, I was in like second, third grade. We had old Apple we had the Apple
Karateka,
IIe's, and then we had the Macintosh.
yep,
It's like the first Macintosh. It might have been Lisa. I think it was Macintosh. But yeah, they were the blue screen ones,
yep.
and they had Prince of Persia, and that was about it. It was like that and just maybe word processing.
Yep.
And we'd like rotate around the room, and everyone who had a 2E was playing Oregon Trail, and everyone who got to the Macintoshes get to play Prince of Persia. So I would just wait for that day to come and I could play it, and it just looked so good. I mean, back it still kind of looks good.
No,
I mean,
it does.
it's
It
Like,
looks
it
phenomenal,
so
it
really.
was
fluid.
it was animated so much better than stuff. Even Karateka or Karateka or whatever you want to call it. The Apple II version of the predecessor to Prince of Persia. That game still looks good. And then Prince of Persia, like, scaled up on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
don't
love
know.
that game. So
Yeah.
I'll probably check this out at some point when it hits a sale.
Yeah.
I'm just too far in the deep weeds of backlog right now.
Yeah, you and your hundreds of games that you play each week. Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah.
Every week,
Yep.
hundreds.
Yeah, I mean it does look phenomenal, and this may be a pickup for me too. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Wow, look at that.
We got
Social.
I see us having some dead period ahead of us between game releases, so this might be one that I go back and grab. So
Fantastic. Next new release out this week is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So this is, for those of you that are unfamiliar, that you don't have PlayStations or whatever, this was basically the next iteration of the Yakuza series. So Yakuza was a thing, and then there was Like a Dragon, Jizz Fest, or whatever the first one was called. And that was how they migrated to the Like a
Yes, I believe
Dragon
that was the
series.
name. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but I needed something on off the cuff. So Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is the next one in that series, out for the Xbox, the PlayStation, the PC. I was never a huge Yakuza guy. I felt like you needed to have like too much inside knowledge. Like it was really super inside baseball. So I never got into those, but I know a lot of like PlayStation gamers did back in the day, because the Yakuza games used to be exclusives at one point, and so I don't know what interest you guys have in, but I've heard these Yakuza games are fantastic. Uh, I've talked to folks at PAX and all these other conventions that they're like Yakuza, yeah, but it's just, it never interested me. But what do
I
you
mean,
guys think?
I think it's a lot of the the Japanese market influence that likes these type of games. People
Yeah.
that are into that whole genre are definitely going to like this. It's not something that I go out of my way to play. I'll play one of these type of games every now and then, but it's just not something I go looking for usually. So
I haven't played any of them yet, probably because of, like you mentioned, it felt like there was so much backlog you had to get through before you understood what was going on in the newer ones. And also it was on PlayStation, which I wasn't my focus in the past. But now that I think everything's on Xbox at this point, and they went back and they remastered a lot of stuff and brought it all together, and it's like 0 through 7 or something now.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Something crazy. Plus the extra stuff and the man who erased his name and all
Yeah,
those
yeah.
games. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll eventually check it out. I don't really know what type of game it is. It seems like I don't know. I haven't
It's like
really
a
looked into it too much.
yeah.
What type of game is it?
It's like an action game, but it's also like a life simulator, but it's also like a mini
Okay.
game. So like
Yeah.
you play a bunch of like weird ass mini games.
It's like that game on the original Xbox that was like 7 discs
Shenmue?
long.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like Shenmue and Shenmue 2, those were like life simulator kind of games
Yes.
ish, but sort of
Yeah.
like Yakuza.
Yeah.
They might be related to Yakuza in some way. I can't remember, but
I'm not sure, but they could very well
but
be.
yeah,
Yeah.
I may check it out at some point. Now that it's kind of gotten repackaged into this, here's all the games at once, and they're all on Xbox, and they're all, I mean, I think they're on Game Pass, or at least some of them might
I
be.
think yeah, some of them are, and you're like, well,
So
next month I have like 700 hours free to play games, so
yeah,
maybe I'll just
yeah.
bang
I
through
mean, when I'm not
Yakuza.
watching all
Yeah,
my movies
yeah, exactly.
and TV
No,
shows
those are your separate 700
and
hours
having
for
kids
games
and
and
not
700 hours for
sleeping.
movies and 700 hours
Yeah.
for TV shows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And no
And work
sleeping.
and
And no
no
working.
sleep.
Yes, yeah,
No
yeah,
sleep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you eat
Uh,
while you play. Yeah.
we'll
Who
see.
knows? Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's when I'll lose some
It's
weight.
my
I just want to eat.
diet. Yes.
Now, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Next new release out this week is Tekken 8 out for the Xbox, the PlayStation, and the PC. We all know the Tekken series. This is supposed to be kind of like this open up imagining of Tekken where like there's some new gameplay mechanics that make it easier for normal people that are not part of the FGC, the fighting game community.
Mm,
So I
okay.
still don't know if I want to play a button masher. I feel like that's what that means when it's like it's accessible to people outside of the fighting game community. It just means that you can just mash the shit out of buttons.
Are they gonna make it so you can just map 2 buttons instead of like all at 20?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they made Street Fighter 6 a lot more accessible, like easier to play, I think, and I think people like that a lot. Tekken, maybe that's what they're doing with this one too. I know that I've heard somebody on another cast talking recently that they were a big Tekken fan, and then some of the older ones didn't do it for them quite as much, but that 7 they loved a lot, and that I think they played 8, or they were looking forward to 8 or something. So it could be that fighting games are kind of getting back into vogue. I mean,
Yeah.
on the normal person level.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Because I know
Not-
that there was yeah, other people who just play fighting games. Of course they're gonna play them. But like just Joe Schmo, maybe they'll still check it out now just because they're getting a little bit easier to play. Because yeah, it did get to a point where like you have to know all the combos and all the buttons, and you have to
Yep.
do like the 25 hit combos, or you're never gonna beat it. And
Yep.
we can't do that, or at least I can't.
Yeah, and
So
I felt like there was like even when the Xbox was it the Xbox One or was it the Xbox Series?
with
Whichever one launched with
Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct, yes. So that was a twist, and that was big in the zeitgeist. We also had the DC
new Mortal
Heroes
Kombat.
games.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
what the hell were those called?
Injustice,
Injustice, and then Injustice
Gods Among Us.
Among
Yeah,
Us. Yep.
those are
Uh,
fun.
Yeah, and those people liked, and then we had a whole resurgence of Mortal Kombat from Mortal Kombat 10, Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 1. So they do seem to be coming back into the purview, but maybe
Yeah.
making them more approachable and easier is what they needed to do all along, because that's kind of how the Injustice games were. Like Injustice, you didn't feel like you needed to memorize like a 700 button thing. It was like you hit start, you looked, and it was like hit YYX and you'll do something fucking awesome. Or
Yeah.
just hit both bumpers and that does your super special motherfucking thing. And it's the same for everyone. and And that kind of added to that approachability is like, yeah, you built up your meter, now go nuts. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe this does have a maybe it's going in the right direction. So who knows? But
I think that's good. And I think that games like Smash Brothers kind of started that,
mm-hmm.
where it's you don't have to know how to play fighting games really too much to just have
Yep,
fun. And if you do know how to play Smash Brothers really well, then there's a whole other level that you can be at and play at that
exactly.
level.
Yep,
But both people can have fun. Both
yep.
types of people can have fun. You don't have to like be super good at it.
No,
I think that's
exactly.
the
Yep.
way to go,
No, I
honestly.
agree. Yep. Well said. Well said. Uh, so all right. Last but certainly not least this week was Pal World out for the Xbox and the PC. It's out on Game Pass. Uh, we can even sort of try something weird. We'll connect this to our gaming news stories. So even though we're still in new releases, we're gonna leave slightly and we're gonna go into gaming news. And first story, Pokemon with Guns satire Pal World sells over 1 million copies in 8 hours. So this
That
game,
was a good transition.
1 million copies in thanks, I appreciate that. 1 million copies in 8 hours. It sold over 5 million copies over the weekend. This
Jeez.
is something unique. It now, granted, it still is second to PUBG for concurrent players in the first day of sales, but this is looking to be a game changer. And obviously Selden's balls deep in it. So
Yeah.
uh
And it's still in pre-release, supposedly. It's not the
Crystal
full.
balls, dude.
yeah, crystal balls deep. Yes, yeah. Good callback. Good call.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
yeah, it is released as a pre-release, so it's not officially even released yet. But it is up for sale on Steam and on Game Pass. It's out there. So, and it's getting pretty good reviews all around from what I've seen. I haven't seen a lot of people complain about it. There's a lot in there. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. So I'm waiting to come across another real player because I did leave my world open to others. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, 5 million people don't buy a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Well, it's on Game Pass. Maybe I'll jump in and check it out with you. We'll see. Give it a shot.
Will this be the first Shadow Selden coming together to play a game?
It could be, although he may be out camping, so I don't know. I'll have to check.
Ah!
There is a couple weekends coming up that I won't be around, but
Yes.
yeah, I'll in the Discord I'll publish my world code so you can jump in there if you want.
Okay.
Rampage through and steal my
Just
shit.
destroy everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. It seems
Yeah,
like
that's
he's
that's
just
where it's
opened
got
up.
that.
He's like a store where you can get whatever you want for free. So yeah,
That's where the arc mechanic definitely comes in. Is because it is like I can lock my chests down so nobody can else access them, but I can also leave them open so you come in, you can go through my shit and take what you want. So
All right. I will do that.
Shadow wants your shit.
I'm gonna get on at like midnight and just like rampage, take everything, and get up in the morning. What the fuck
Where's my
happened?
stuff? Where's my stuff?
I used to have a whole village. Where are
Uh,
all my pals? Where are my pals?
but yeah, this was kind of an exceptional launch. Like you don't usually see like the 1 million copies in 8 hours. You don't see the over the weekend hype from all of the gaming news outlets. They all started. It was like the 1 million, then the 2 million, and then when the weekend was up, 5 fucking million. That's ludicrous.
Wow.
So
And it's the word still hasn't got out about the game too. This is just like
Yeah.
the people that are in the know. Like there's a bunch of people out there that probably gonna like, what the fuck is Pal World?
yes, yeah, exactly. Yes, that's why we're here to tell them about it.
And
I mean,
over in Europe, they're like PAL World, like PAL, like the TVs. Okay.
Like NTSC.
I don't know what that
and
is.
PAL?
Yeah,
Like,
like PAL.
Yeah. Now I know there is the only complaint that I've really heard is that the Xbox version and the PC version are slightly different. The PC version you can have 32 people in a world at a time. I think the Xbox version maybe 4 or 6.
Wow,
Ooh.
that's a big
Well,
delta.
So
I know you can play
I
it
know
on
they're
Xbox
working.
One, so
Yeah.
that might be why. Maybe they're keeping it so
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
backwards compatible and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I think they're working on some of these fixes as they go forward, but I know that they restricted the Xbox version down for the amount of concurrent users in the world. So
Yeah. Well, we've already seen
Okay.
that they're willing to break their rules for Baldur's Gate 3 and say, hey, Series X is different than Series S, and
Yeah,
different
we'll see.
rules for different systems. So, yeah. And we know from Microsoft a couple of years ago, they were like, well, Xbox is being more like a PC ecosystem where like you upgrade things and things get better. And so hopefully they get more to that point where like, and I know people want to buy a Series S and have it play the same games, but maybe it plays the same games, but just at different resolution or different this or different that or with different settings, more like the PC world. So we'll see what happens. But all right, next story.
all right.
I see Shadow has highlighted a story to try to claim it for himself so
Go
that
for it,
Sultan
Take it
has
if
to
you
pick
want.
something different.
Take it if you want.
This was a
No, no.
creative move. That was well done, Shadow. Yes, yeah.
I will take the next story after that. Rumored Halo Battle Royale project seemingly canceled. I don't think it's seemingly, I think it's pretty much official that the Battle Royale has been thrown away, discarded, and not going to ever see the light of day. It was never actually ever officially revealed or announced, but yeah, it seems like all indication says that we will not be seeing the battle royale. I know this is going to disappoint Smooth
No, certainly
dramatically.
not.
Uh,
It's like what would have disappointed me is this coming out. So yeah.
One more
so
thing to not play.
I think
Exactly, yeah.
Halo's in a bad spot right now. I think this would have helped if they would have got this out and it would have worked, but I don't know where they're going to go with the Halo franchise from here. So
I feel like, and I'll get into it on the next story, but I feel like they actually are doing a little better these days with Halo. I think because they're focusing more and they're not they're kind of moving away from their old plan to some new plans, and it's getting more popular, which I didn't realize actually. But then I've been reading up and listening to some stuff where it's like, yeah, they're it's doing better. Kids are actually starting to play it again. I don't know. We'll see. But the battle royale, I think that's just something that they should have stayed away from to begin with. It's not a Halo thing,
No,
so fine by
Halo's
me.
a Team Slayer thing. Team
Yeah.
Slayer.
I always felt like it would fall more in the ODST universe of Halo than the
Yeah,
Master
I
Chief
can-
version of Halo.
I can see it
Yeah.
And I
more
think
there.
that would have been
yes,
better
yeah.
that sitting in that world. But
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
See what happens.
All right, next
s-
story.
Speaking of which, Halo Infinite is done with seasons, doubling down on free operations instead. So it says lots of free content is coming, including the armor worn by Spartans in Halo Wars. So Halo Infinite won't receive any more seasons after season 6 that they're in right now, I believe. And it's leading to shorter free operations that will come every 4 to 6 weeks. They've started to, after I think season 4, it said, they stopped doing cinematics, and now this will be the last battle pass with like 100 tiers. After that, it's just going to be smaller things that come out over time, every 4 to 6 weeks. So more frequently, but less involved, which I think is probably a good idea just because the longer seasons with the
Oh, they're so
I mean, people can
drawn
hit.
out. Yeah.
They're so drawn out, and you can get to 100 if you play enough. You can get to 100 in a few days, and then you just wait around for 4 months and do
Something
nothing.
else. Yes. Yep.
And then it just makes people leave the game, I think. So this will keep them engaged, I think. And with all the stuff they've been doing recently with new maps, new Forge maps, Halo 3 stuff, I think all that stuff is great. And I think this is probably a good idea. Yeah, it says they're leaning into that as a big part of the game going forward. But yeah, the stream of seasons will be returning, which I think that's fine. Originally, when it first came out, I didn't even know that was gonna be happening because I just hadn't paid attention.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I was like, okay, so every every few couple months, I got to buy a new Game Pass unless I Then they
Unless
put in
you've built
the
up enough to get it. Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Then they put that in after a little while. They put in, oh, now you can build up enough points to buy the next season if you play the previous season, and which is fine, but it always felt like it was a little bit paywalled the whole time.
Yeah,
So I
no, I
think
hear you.
this will maybe be a little better, but
Yeah,
they're yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I just think that this is, they weren't able to capture the lightning in the bottle of the live service gaming. Like that. I think that's what their intention was to go as a live service game platform where they continually update, give the cinematics, give the new season battle pass. And I just think that only one or two games have been able to capture that in that whole live
Fortnite.
game service. Yeah, Fortnite was perfect example of it. And there's been a couple iterations of that type of game, and it doesn't work. You have to hit that at the right exact time with the right exact formula, and not a lot of people have been able to do it. So I think that they tried. I think they're just falling back away from that type of platform. I don't see how much more content they're going to give you. I don't know if the free operations instead is really going to do it. How are they going to keep the live service going? If they're not getting an influx of cash
Yes,
of
yeah.
some sort. So
Yep.
are we looking more at DLC coming down the road where they're going to start selling packs again? Or are they going to rely on people to buy armor?
Be that way. Like
So-
the map packs that was like the original DLC, and it seemed to be like the sweet point. It was like, yeah, I'll buy new maps, I'll buy new maps, I'll buy new maps. And then
But
you had Forge. I'm like,
the people who
Yeah.
didn't buy the
Yeah.
maps then couldn't be in those hoppers, and they had to, oh, we don't have that
Yes.
installed. Now
Yeah.
we got to go install it so you can play with us. And
yeah.
that was the problem. That's what
And then
all
you
the
guilted
companies
your
would-
friends into being like, oh,
Right.
who the fuck didn't pay for
Doesn't-
this? And then
Yes,
it-
go
and
buy
then-
that right
then
now
Shadow was
or get
like,
out.
I didn't. And then Shadow had to go buy it.
GTFO.
Right? Yes, yes,
No.
yeah. It's either fucking buy it or leave. Yes.
Yeah.
So it was
and I
like
think,
it was like a weird flex that got all your friends to buy the same shit. It was
guilt.
a genius marketing thing.
Well, but I think all the companies have decided the last like 5 years or so that they're just not going to do that anymore. It's just all of this maps are going to be out for everybody, and the cosmetics are going to be the thing, because Fortnite now made cosmetics a huge thing, and now all the
do
kids
you
want the
care
cosmetics.
about cosmetics?
I don't. No, I don't.
I don't either.
But the
So-
kids do.
But what I care about is maps. I'll
Yeah.
keep paying you $20 for new maps over and over and over. I won't pay you $20 for cosmetics.
That's true. I think the focus is going to be how they did it with they screwed up with the Master Chief Collection. We all know that.
Yes.
But
yeah.
they really righted it after like 5 years. It took them a long time. Took them a long time. But it's
And
like,
they brought
perfect
that
now.
back around. Yes.
They
yeah.
did, and it's like perfect now, and it's something they
Yeah.
can say, okay, here, buy it, get a Game Pass, play this, play all the Halo games for free,
Yeah.
and now I think they're going to try to do the same thing with Halo Infinite. It's just going to be the selling point of Game Pass, and the system is, here's all the stuff for free. We're going to keep updating it, can keep getting new maps, and we're going to keep making it better. We fixed all this stuff, and now you jump in and everything's perfect. And I think people have a really short memory for stuff like that. Even with, think about Cyberpunk.
Oh,
At
and
some
now
point,
everyone's back with the
people-
Sons of Liberty
yeah,
or whatever the fuck this
yeah.
is, and yeah,
People
everyone
are
loves
returning it.
people
getting their
cannot
money back. They
wait
hated
to
it.
play more Cyberpunk, and we all returned it. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and
So-
now it's fine. People
Yeah.
have a really short memory, and I do too, because I did play it once it finally got all patched and back to pretty perfect, and I loved it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have back then, and
No,
it just
and I wouldn't have, because it was a completely different game than it was in beta. Like beta was an entirely different game. Oh, Selden remembers this because I used to bitch
I
about
didn't
this
play
on the
that.
show.
So I remember
So,
you were
yeah.
talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
not the same game. No.
So I still haven't played the System Shock. It's related, but I still haven't played that
System
System
Shock
Shock
one?
remake
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it still hasn't come to consoles. I was supposed to get my Kickstarter code to
Oh, that's
consoles
right,
whenever
yes,
that
yeah.
comes out someday. It's just on PC still, and so I still haven't played it. But it's tangentially related to Cyberpunk because it's
I hear
cyber-ish.
I hear it.
So anyway,
That's why I hope Skull and Bones is completely different than the
Oh.
beast that I was.
You mean when it comes out in 2032?
You mean the game that I saw at E3 8 years ago, and then 7, and then like that's
It was like
never coming.
it was like
Yeah.
oh, Black Flag. This is really good. Everyone loves this. Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah,
Let's make
we'll
a
make
ship
this
game.
like Sea of Thieves, but different, more like Black
Oh,
Flag.
this is way
yes,
back.
yes,
Oh, yeah,
yes,
right.
yeah.
I hope it
Hidden
comes
here.
out as
We
a
can talk about
turn-based
Sea of
board
Thieves.
game
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of what it is.
No, no.
Anyway,
All right, next
next.
story. So this one's kind of a weird title, so it doesn't really count as a title. But what to expect from Xbox in 2024? So Shadow had messaged me. He's like, "Oh, people are getting upset about Xbox and what's going to happen. Are they going to make hardware anymore?" And then Games Radar, who are reputable journalists, have already gone through and they said, "Hey, here's what to expect from Xbox Series X in 2024. Massive AAA releases, a banner year for Game Pass, and new hardware." So we already saw that round, new, weird-ass digital Xbox from the leaks from the trial. We saw that now Microsoft has all of these AAA exclusives, things that bring you to Game Pass. I don't see this as an issue. Like, why would Microsoft not keep dropping hardware? They also have deals now with Samsung and a bunch of other things to bring xCloud streaming to TVs. Like,
That's
my
not
8K
hardware.
TV in that room can stream with not quite the same fidelity as playing on an actual Xbox, but there's just so many games coming between, like we talked about earlier, the Indiana Jones game. You have
Avowed.
there's just so many things coming down the pike. I don't think that this is Avowed, Hellblade 2, what we saw with Hi-Fi Rush. Then we have Everwild, Perfect Dark, a potential future game coming down in that series that's been teased and teased and teased. We have Marvel's Blade coming eventually. So I don't see this as a console killer, despite Sony selling whatever source you look at, 2x, 3x. Yeah, sure. There's a bunch of Sony bitches that all they do are buy PlayStations, and now these guys are gonna have to rethink this when they can't get their game on their little kid console. They need a big boy console. So, and I have them all, so I can shit on this. Yes, that's why I buy them all, so I can shit on this. Yes, yeah.
I have them all. I like them all. I just I play more on Xbox probably than anything else. I think the issue people were talking about recently was just the console sales, the hardware stuff. It seemed like they were maybe leaning into Microsoft might be going more cloud, more Game Pass cloud, that, and sort of being like a Sega where you make all the software, but it's just wherever.
Yes, yeah.
And maybe things are going to go multi-plat in a lot of cases, but maybe not. I mean, we don't know for sure, but it sounds like their hardware sales are not great. But also Japan and Europe just don't buy Xboxes. It's all PlayStation, both those places. So you're not going to get any of those sales really for Xbox. So something to take into account. But I don't know. I mean, I hope it goes well for them. It just seemed like recently that was the talk. So.
I'd still like to see Sega come back and put out a console. Like, I think we're overdue for a Sega console. Like, I don't think that the market is like, we won't buy all these things. I buy all these things. Like, if you deliver me a console, I will buy it.
So you're gonna buy the new Atari? Are you gonna buy the new Atari 400 that's being remade?
Yeah.
The Atari,
the Atari 400. They're about to release the 400 again, so they're making that console computer thing back. But I think this argument once again is Microsoft came into this generation saying hardware sales aren't Sony's not our
Important.
competitor. Like
Yeah.
Amazon and Netflix are our competitors.
Yep.
It's true.
Like
Yep.
they haven't changed their story. They haven't, all of a sudden like, no, consoles are where it's at. No, they're still sticking with the,
Game
Sony-
Pass is our thing. Yes.
Game Pass is our thing. It's games as a service.
Yep.
As the platform is the service, not a console. So
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I don't care. The sales of a console don't mean anything at this point anymore. When you look at it from Microsoft's strategy when they came into this generation, so
Yeah.
They may or may not make a difference to Microsoft. The only people it really makes difference to, unless if it doesn't make a difference to Microsoft, is just fanboys. And I think that
Yes.
people are concerned about that, and they want to tout their system as, oh, I have 3 times as much, or Nintendo is the highest sales, I think, of all of them,
Yeah.
but also the lowest quality. So it's, or quality system wise.
Yes. Yeah.
So so does it really matter? I don't know. But
in
down the road,
Microsoft's side, it doesn't matter because it's how many PCs are made by Microsoft anymore? None. Like everybody
Right.
else makes a PC. And
Well,
Microsoft
it
is
doesn't
still the
matter.
biggest name in
Microsoft sells
PCs.
Windows for all those PCs. So yes.
So
as long as it doesn't matter to Microsoft and they stick around, then fine.
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, like you were mentioning, internet's getting faster. They're starting to go towards a new DOCSIS system
Yeah.
for like just basically unlimited internet.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, and you have any device that can just stream,
Yeah.
doesn't matter
Yeah.
if you have an actual console. If everything can be in the cloud, if the license for the game will allow it to be in the cloud, you can play it anywhere.
But
So
see,
who cares?
Even if it's in the cloud, but you still need hardware in the cloud. Like if you look at
Right.
how Microsoft delivers xCloud, if you remember, there was a time where they were replacing their Xbox One X cloud servers with Xbox Series X cloud servers because
Is it a 1-to-1? Is it like an actual
no,
box?
it's an actual
No.
1-to-1. Yes.
Like it's
So-
not a virtual machine box or something?
No,
or-
it's a VM, but it's a
I have-
VM that can run at that level with that graphics card attached to it and everything else, where
Right.
that's how they're able to deliver this quality to you. So that only scales to some point. Like sometimes it's still nice to have something at your home. Like there's not really a parallel in another industry. Like this is unique to video games. It's unique to consoles. It's unique to PCs. But it's like, do you want to have a super powered PC at home, or do you want to connect to your library and then use their system to do research? So,
well, this is the way of CD-ROMs and DVDs and Blu-rays. I'm like,
exactly.
Netflix
yes,
doesn't
yeah,
have them anymore, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
It's true.
So we'll see what happens, but
There's a lot of physical media fans out there who will fight you for their physical media.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of odd situation these days.
should I yell next story?
well, no, because
Yes.
talking about that real quick, and
Oh.
I saw that GameStop is going to stop buying used games. Also, they're getting
I
away
think
from
that's
buying-
game.
That's
I think
games
that's game
out in the UK. yes.
UK.
yeah, in the UK. So I'm
Yeah.
like, it's just a small step, and like physical media is dying for them too. So
Yeah.
they can't rape anybody any longer with their up pricing. So
No,
they're
exactly.
I
starting to get
mean,
away from those.
It'll eventually come here to the US, but yeah, games in the UK is the first one to kind of jump into this. So.
Well, I think it's because fewer people are buying physical media, so there's not much to buy anyway. And then a lot of systems don't even come with the drive, so you can't sell them.
No. And
to
that's that
them.
round next Xbox Series X
Yeah,
device that comes next.
so we'll see.
But yes, let's go to the next story.
Next story.
All right. Let's see. We'll go with
I don't even remember who's got the next story.
You can grab that one if you want.
Are you talking about me?
No, I'm talking to some.
Oh, so
I didn't highlight anything. I really don't know. I lost track of whose story it was.
all right, then I'll take the next one,
Take
then
this.
we'll fix this after the fact. Ninja Theory is giving Hellblade 2 a digital only release. So to kind of go upon what we just said, Ninja Theory, huge developer, Hellblade, huge title. Hellblade 2 will not be on physical media. So
Was
this,
Hellblade 1 on physical media?
yeah, all,
Because I don't even.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I wasn't sure. It's such a small game. I didn't know.
Is it a small game?
It's very short.
It may be short, but it's not small.
Oh.
Small. Yeah. Hellblade is a critically acclaimed title. And they've said, hey, you know what? Fuck physical media. We're only doing digital. And this kind of leans back on what we were just talking about is, yeah, so used games are shit. I think this is where things are going to go moving forward. So I think this is a huge story. And Ninja Theory being one of our huge devs, to put this line in the sand, I think this is something to like kind of showcase to other devs to say like, hey, yeah, we can do that too. So I have no problem with this. I don't buy physical. I can't even remember the last time I bought a disc. So I'm all in on this, but
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm like, I have no reason to buy a physical disc anymore at all. And I don't even see buying like the pre-order so you get the bonus statue. I'm like, yeah, I don't really need it. Like, I'd rather just buy everything digital and move forward. So,
Yep.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2 was digital only. And that pissed off a lot of people. And they're still like, if you go on the web message board that's talking about the game, you get all the I want a physical copy. Their Remedy says something like, where's my physical version? Like, it's not gonna happen, man. It's just not gonna happen. Just get over it or don't play the game. Stop complaining about it.
I think that's your vocal minority that are on there, and
Yeah,
the diehards that
really
need a
is.
disc. So
I mean, I love that game. I would love some sort of memorabilia from it to have in my hands, but I can buy like other things that have to do with the game. I don't have to have the actual game because these days the games are barely even on the disc. It's always like
it's
early
always like
version
a
they have to
first
patch
day,
or
first day
for a
download.
key or
Yes, yeah.
yeah, it's basically just a key. It's like what the Xbox One was talking about when they first launched. It's like this not even be the
now
game.
we're finally catching up. Yes,
Yeah, finally. Jeez, only took us 10 years. But we'll see. So I don't know. I think it's fine. I'll buy it. It's probably gonna be Game Pass, so I think it is on Game Pass because it's them. So yeah, I'll play that day one because I just finished the first one. It was really good. It was, I don't know, maybe 5 hours ish, and it was definitely fun. Liked it. I'm okay with it.
All right, next story.
Call of Duty didn't top the yearly sales charts for the first time since 2009. Hogwarts Legacy looks like they beat everybody in the game sales this year. Is it a surprise? Is it not a surprise? There wasn't a big enough iteration between the last Call of Duty that was released and the Call of Duty this year.
So now I'm going to tell you a secret. Every year, there's not a big enough iteration between Call of Duty and the next year. Every year. There hasn't been one since Modern Warfare 2. Like, not the new remake, but the one back in 2010, 2009, whatever year that was. Yeah.
Call of Duty 6.
They've changed. In the earlier, they changed theaters. They've changed years that they've been in. They've done significant upgrades to weapons.
They've done controversial shit. They did.
I'm like,
no Russian. Remember that?
Yeah, I mean, they flip flop, but there hasn't like these last two really haven't delved out of the game versions of Call of Duty in the past.
Well, they're both remakes, right? Aren't they like...
Yeah, they were both remakes. So exactly. That's why we're in the past. Yes.
I'm like, so it's like it's they didn't raise the bar enough to really warrant being number one. So they still did phenomenally well. They still sold a shit ton of games, but just Hogwarts Legacy, it came out ahead. And like a lot of people are like, oh, Hogwarts Legacy wasn't really popular. People didn't want to talk about. Like, no, we talked the shit out of this game because there was a lot of controversy around Hogwarts Legacy when it was coming out because of
Yeah.
the J.K. Rowling shit that was
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, 'cause
And
she's
you know,
an
everybody
asshole.
was talking about this game. So, like, for people that are saying that it wasn't a big AAA title, no, it was a big AAA that got a lot of press. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, this is the first time since like Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, and outside of the big three of Call of
Yep,
Duty,
yep.
those two, that hasn't been number one. So it's nice to see a change come in. So people are looking for something different. So
I all I heard were pretty much bad things about this one this time around. I didn't play it, but everyone who's a fan
Yep.
just said it kind of sucked in general. So I don't really think it's a surprise, but I do hope that for Microsoft's sake that next year maybe take a year off
Yeah.
and get your shit together
This is what
and then put
people
out
have
a
been
really
saying
good
for
one.
so long is you don't need a Call of Duty every year. You
Yeah,
just need a
take a year
good
off.
Call of Duty within a cycle. Yes.
Because you know what's going to happen. The people are going to be craving it. They're like, oh, there's no Call of Duty this year. Oh. And then next year, one's going to come out and they make a huge deal out of it. It's so
The
different. Look at
best.
all this new
It's
stuff.
so
And
awesome.
you've waited for
Yes.
2 years and here it is. And, hype it up.
Yeah.
Because if it's out every year, it's just like roster updates for the
Yeah,
NFL
exactly.
games,
It's Madden. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and just to reiterate that, I mean, the Call of Duty, the phenomenon that goes on. This is the rundown of the top 10 from 2023, from January 1st, 2023 to December 30th. Hogwarts Legacy number 1, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, 2, Madden, of course, is number 3.
Yep.
Marvel Spider-Man 4, Zelda 5,
Mhm.
Diablo 4, 6, Call of Duty Warfare 2,
Oh.
7.
Yeah, yeah.
So you add those two Call of Duties, they still
Yep.
probably topped everybody. But then it goes
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and EA Sports Football Club 24. So
Yeah.
I'm like, they still have 2 of the top 10. So
Yeah,
I
it's
think
not quite the same.
not quite the same, but I mean, it's, there's a lot of heavy hitters in there. So it was a good year for AAAs there, apparently.
Yes.
Starfield came in at 11. So
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Starfield, Redfall. Let's
Oh,
not even
yeah.
talk
I have
about those.
Starfield.
Yes, yeah.
I still have Starfield to play. That's on my backlog at
No,
some
nice,
point.
nice. Yeah.
Maybe I'll play
So-
that in 2 years.
So I think we're all in agreement. Call of Duty can go away for a year before they come back, and we'll be fine.
Exactly. All right. So next story.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming to Xbox and PC, quote, later this year. So I don't know if everyone here saw the developer direct for Xbox, but they showed off a bunch of games, and one of them was the new Indiana Jones game that has been rumored for years, and no one had seen anything about it, and it looks pretty freaking great. I went into I went into a GameStop yesterday and just asked him just to check, hey, do you have any release date on that game? No, I couldn't find anything. Just in case it was, a secret or something. But yeah.
You're the first
some
guy
point
I
this year.
even knew went into a GameStop in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I got my hair cut and there's a GameStop right next
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
My son went with me and he wanted to get some Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
So when he was asking about those, I checked with the guy. But yeah, so it's releasing for Xbox Series X and S, PC, and cloud gaming, and not PlayStation. So yeah, so
That
Bethesda,
says
that's kind of the
something.
first
Yeah.
like a shot across the bow with Bethesda. Now they're not going to be putting out anywhere else on PlayStation or Nintendo. I mean, obviously not Switch, but it does look really cool. And it takes place in 1937 between Raiders and The Last Crusade, because as we all know, Temple of Doom was a prequel. So
Yep.
Raiders is between Raiders and Last Crusade was like the best time period
Yep.
that they could have
Absolutely.
set it in. It's gonna I'm looking forward to it. It looks like it's a powerful force, or the MacGuffin.
Yes. Yeah.
Is-
Yeah. Where
is a
they
powerful
strike
force.
that out. Didn't we? Right.
Yes.
MacGuffin. Yes. Yeah.
It is a powerful force in question is connected to something called the Great Circle, a perfect circle around the globe that links human-built ancient sites of great spiritual significance. Apparently, this is a real thing. Like, if you go around the world, there's actually sort of a line you can draw between a lot of these big things that were built.
Mhm.
And I'm sure a lot of it's coincidence, but that's kind of cool if it's a real thing. that they based it on.
Aliens.
I like it. I like things when they sort of have a partial truth, so that it's, oh well, the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, well that's obviously this didn't happen. This thing that they showed, but it's supposedly real thing.
Yeah, no one's
So there's
face
stuff
is
like that.
melted, but there
No, but
was one. Yes, yeah, yeah.
historically there's supposed to have been one. So
Mm,
that's kind of cool that they do that. And the Last Crusade with the cup and everything. So
yep.
yeah,
Also, one of my
Only
most
the
exciting
pendulum
things.
man will
Yeah.
pass. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite things from that developers conference that the show that they had was the buy-in that Todd Howard had. Like
Oh yeah, how he's
like
in with
he
them
was
now.
so
Yes, yeah,
in, like he's like, I've wanted this game for like 30 years. Like
yeah, yeah,
this is the game that I've always dreamed Indiana could be. Like,
yeah,
and he like, you could see his hands are involved in it, which is great because like
yeah.
that's what you need in a game like this. Not to hand it off to some studio to write their own story. He's actually deeply involved in this, and I love that. So
No, yeah, and we love Todd Howard. He's like Tiff and I have met him multiple times. He is connected in this industry. He's he, he's been a strong leader, and to have him like kind of shepherding this content, I think will help us all to how it kind of gets delivered in the end. But yeah, I could not be more excited for this game. So yeah.
I have one of my best friends. I sold him my original Xbox One a
Oh,
long time ago. So that's what he has right now to game on. He doesn't game a whole lot, but he's a gigantic Indiana Jones fan. Like they named their dog Indy. Um,
I named the
Dr. Jones,
dog
actually.
Indiana.
It's
Yes,
actually
yeah.
Dr. Indiana Jones Jr., but Indy
wow,
for
that's a big
short.
name for a dog.
And yeah, they love that dog. Uh, and so he may eventually, this might be something that'll get him to buy an Xbox,
Nice.
or maybe just an S at least, because then he could at least play it. Because he doesn't have a PC, so
Ah,
we'll
okay.
see. But
Yeah,
it's cool.
I can't
All
wait.
right.
All
Mhm.
right. Next story. Square Enix wants to make fewer, better games. So, does not seem to be out of the realm of possibility. Like, as we've seen over the last couple of years, Square Enix has put out a lot of games. Some are lauded and some are laughed at. Um, so I think this is something that game devs should all be thinking about. And really, only Square Enix is the one that is actually saying this, which is like, hey, sometimes more isn't better. Sometimes better is more. And I think that's kind of what they're going for here. It's not about like, hey, we need a game release each quarter, and each one of those is going to drive our revenue, because your shit ones are not going to drive your revenue, and they may hurt you in the long run. So instead, put more resources into creating better things that drive, instead of a quarter's revenue, 6 months or a year's revenue, and go from there. So this is kind of like the first game studio that's realized what normal companies do in the real world. Um, like
Yeah.
my company doesn't put out products just because we need to have a product every quarter. We put out products because they make sense and they can drive the market. And I think Square Enix has finally figured this out. And I for one, think this is like something that most game companies could learn from, because some of them feel like if we're not constantly producing, we're going to get forgot about. But that's not the case. Like if you release garbage, what was the point of it? So I really do think this is a good turn in it, and for Square Enix to be the ones to say, hey, we figured this out, and we're not going to just keep cranking out shovelware, and we're going to make sure that we give you the best of the best that fits in our mold, annually. I really do think this is a good change to the industry. So what do you guys think?
Now, just to play a little bit of the devil's advocate.
Uh-oh.
I agree with his sentiment, the statement, put out fewer, better titles. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I also look at it like, is this PR spin saying like, you know what, we're about to lay off a shit ton of guys that are working on small projects that just aren't getting up to speed fast enough? And so we're going to say it like this to make it PR look better, that, hey, we're going to focus our all of our talent pools into the right titles to make us money, or is it back talk for like, hey, guess what, we're about to lay off a bunch of guys over there that just aren't getting the shit done?
I don't know. I think that a lot of it's, well, I mean, a lot of it's PR. It's PR. That's what it is. It's saying this on a business site. But I think that it's better to have fewer shovelware and fewer just like, here's a bunch of trash you're putting out. I mean, maybe somebody buy it, maybe it won't, but at least your name will be out there, and get more loyalty back by saying, we're only going to put out one game a year, maybe, but it's going to be really good and everyone's going to want it because we're going to put all of our resources into that. And we're not going to have all this loss from putting all this money into these games that don't make any money. We're going to put the money into the games that are the best and then just sell that one.
Exactly. And that's how Square Enix's booth was at E3 for 15 years. Like, whatever one title they were showing off was the entire booth. And it would have lines, and like, if you didn't have appointments, the lines were lined up, and you would go see that spectacle and you'd be like, all right, there it is. It was the next Tomb Raider or whatever. And it changed from that. And I think you're absolutely right. Like, it's not worth it just to have your name out there, but it's worth it to make people wait. Like, look at Rockstar. Rockstar puts out one game every 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
And they sell a bajillion copies.
Yeah. And then they sell all the software. So yeah, it's like that's the
we've run out of software.
Yes, yeah.
We have no more discs. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm looking at the link you have here, and it says today. Okay, so it's big marquee games this year include Foam Stars, which is a Splatoon ripoff, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is a remake, which is going to be good, but it's a remake.
Yeah.
Followed by Visions of Mana, a sequel game. It's so many sequels, and Final Fantasy 14 Down Trail, which is an expansion to a game.
Yes. Yep.
So that's what's the unique. There's no unique games there.
No,
period.
Nothing at all. So.
Power Wash Simulator 17? Is that what's on the future?
Yeah, my son likes that Power Wash stuff.
My son likes
I
that
actually Power Wash, which he also likes to do.
No, nice.
Yeah.
No, I think it's time that companies take a step back and look at the Rockstar way. Like, there's a reason why Rockstar are rock stars, and it's because they don't put out a ton of shit. They put out something of quality. They put them out rarely, and then they back them and feed content into them. It's just it's not a normal corporate mentality, but it works out for them. I
would say that if they want to still use their IPs and not make a completely unique thing, dig really deep. Like way back into stuff that you still have the rights to. Maybe make a new. I forget if Nintendo owns Earthbound or not, because Square did own it, I think, or maybe, but or Valkyrie, was it Valkyrie Chronicles and Xenogears and stuff like that. I mean, is that, I can't remember if that's Square or not. But way back, games that are from a long time ago that you bring it back up and people go, I remember that. People our age and like, you're making a new one, like they did with Baldur's Gate 3. Like Baldur's Gate 2 was forever ago.
Yeah.
And they brought that out and it got Game of the Year everywhere.
We had a question last week about it. It's like, who saw this coming? Like, did anyone see Baldur's Gate 3 winning Game of the Year? I was like, no, but
no. Yeah, I mean, bring back an IP that people have fondness for, people who have money now have fondness for, and put all of your resources into it and put out the one game a year. And then that's the game, and it's really well done, and everyone who loved that game back in the day are gonna buy it. And then you get good uh loyalty from it and money. I mean,
Yeah.
that
Now,
sounds
even
right to me.
JC in chat was like, "Do you guys have a copy of Battletoads?" Battletoads is something that they break back out every few years, and it brings in a shitload of people because people are like, "Oh, Battletoads is back." I'd like to see Lemmings. Bring back Lemmings. Bring back like there's so many uh, different series that have not shown up in years. Like um like Sierra Online could bring back fucking King's Quest and Space Quest and Police Quest. There's tons of niche series that are long overdue to come back instead of just cranking out your garbage year over year over year. And sure,
Final Fantasy, Final
yeah.
Fantasy.
Oh my god.
Give
X
me a
remake.
Pitbull or Goonies.
Yeah, yeah. It's always like
Right.
remake or it's all that times 10 ultimate this or that or yeah, like just bring something back and bring it back with
Good.
yeah, yeah. Well, good is the understatement.
Or
But yeah, yeah,
make something brand new that's really good, but that's harder.
yeah.
So
Oh,
maybe
that
try to
is hard. Yes, yeah.
bring something old back that people have nostalgia for that hasn't had a game in 15 years.
Well, like we just talked about, this is why we're all excited about the Indiana Jones game
Oh yeah. Well,
because yeah.
I've never played an Indiana Jones game because all the old ones were really old, and the N64 one I didn't play. So
All right, fair
yeah.
enough.
Yeah,
I
there
mean,
was
that is
one.
really old now too, I
Yes,
guess.
yes.
Like I
yes.
think the last one I played was maybe on a Sega Genesis. All I remember is jumping on the invisible platforms to get across the chasm.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah. Penitent Man will pass.
No.
But
All right. Selden last story.
all right, I'm gonna call this our what the fuck story. The WTF story, in my opinion, is
Ooh,
Oh, well, bringing back a
been a
category.
while.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the world of tuition reimbursements and cancellation of debts, UC Berkeley has come out to offer a class that'll make you say, "What the fuck?"
This story has me saying, what the fuck? right.
UC Berkeley is offering a class that'll help you get good at fighting games.
Get good.
University of California, Berkeley is offering a class that's centered around fighting games for the spring 2024 semester. Not only will the class teach people how to become a better player, but it'll also explore the impact the genre has had on the world.
Wow.
Really? This is a
Wow.
class you're taking
Yeah.
for credits? No. God.
That's a
damn it,
blow off
no.
class.
Well, this is the dumbification of college. Yes, yes.
I mean, it's been that way for a while.
I'm
You know,
like,
there's
this
always
is,
there's always
this
a few
is
of
the
those
modern day
classes.
basket weaving class, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
I took a
yeah.
film class once. I just kind of sat there and watched movies and talked about movies.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the University of California set of schools has got the highest tuition for out of state students.
UCB
And
is a good school, but this
it's a
seems
really
kinda
good
nuts.
school.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't get it. It's got me saying in the back of the head, like, what the fuck?
What the
the fuck?
fuck? Yes.
What the fuck?
All right. Well, on that, if you have questions, stories you want us to talk about next week, give us a call 773-527-2961. Emails at podcast@stoolplay.com. Comment on the episode's thread in the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors. If we had them, we'd pimp them, but we don't, so we won't. So let's just move on. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool Player at twitter.com/Tool-to-Play. Everything podcast related is twitter.com/still_gut_game. Facebook the fuck out of us, facebook.com/Tool-to-Play. We have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tool-to-Play. Go there, subscribe, find all of our archive video content. We won't go into any details on that because it's Selden's birthday. Please rate and review the podcast in iTunes. Give us 5 stars. You get an extra 5 seconds. Write something nice. Like, hey, happy birthday, Selden, or whatever you want to write. We have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/still_got_game. We also broadcast there live. We have a Discord channel. That's discord.me/stillgotgame. That's discord.me/stillgotgame. I'm there like 1% of the time. Selden's there like 97% of the time. Shadow's there 90% of the time. Tiff 20, Yant 1. But you
Who?
will be able to go back. You think my numbers are off?
No, I don't know who you're talking
who's
about.
Yount? Who's this Yount?
Yant, who deleted himself
Yeah?
from the outline earlier tonight. Yes, so you will be able to find folks in the show to talk to during the day. So I guess as always we jump to some kind of per person charities or whatever else we want to talk about. So Selden, what do you want to push out there to the community this week?
I really don't have a lot going on right now. I just know that it's getting cold and a lot of states are under severe weather. If you have extra coats or anything like that, or extra clothes, donate them to your local charity, especially for kids drives and stuff like that. That would be great if you guys could do that. That would be awesome. Be a better human. Give what you don't need to somebody that needs. And you can find me on all my socials. You can find my socials at my Linktree account. You can find that under Selden007. There are some times throughout this year that I'm taking a break. I'm once a month. I'm rotating a few weeks off each month from a different social platform just to give
That's
myself
when
a little
he
bit of time
ignored
off.
you, is when he's on his like 1
Yeah.
month off break. He's like, yeah, follow me on Facebook. And then he's like, well, I took all of
I'm off of Facebook
November and December off. So yes.
So if I don't respond to you on Discord, it might be my month off of Discord. So
Or he might be sleeping. No one knows.
Nobody
Yes,
knows. But other than that, no, that's all I got. What about you, Shadow?
This I don't have much right now. I would say that hey, just a reminder, if you have pets, don't leave them outside too long because their feet will freeze. So be very, very careful. Don't forget your pets outside. I know that happens sometimes in the very, very cold. So be careful with that. And I have all my links at Linktree Brian S. Emmerich. And that's all I got for now. I just want to let Selden have the rest of his birthday, so I'm gonna give him back his time.
Yeah. All of my links are at Linktree / it's Selden's birthday, but I also have like a second Linktree, which is Linktree / Derek Nolan. That's where all my shit is. That's where all the show's shit is. But yeah, definitely go out there, send Selden some gifts. Like his Amazon, like if you search for Christopher with the K, like no one spells it. Selden, like he has
Is it like Christopherson?
yeah, like Chris Christopherson, but like Chris
So
Selden.
Christopher.
Like no one has ever chosen the K for
Chris
Christopher.
Cross?
Yeah,
Chris Cross?
but yeah, you can search him up his Amazon. He has some wish lists. Like send him his hiking shit, his camping shit. He wants some Coleman cooking stoves. He wants he has so much stuff on there. So just throw him a bone. Shoot
Get
him
some of the like
shit.
moon cheese and stuff that he can like trail mix.
Dehydrated meals, as they're always good.
Yeah.
He's got tons of stuff on there. So throw him a bone. Shoot him something. But all of my stuff is Linktree / Derek Nolan. That's where all the show shit is. That's where all my shit is. But really, I do want to remind you can join us each every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific at youtube.com/tooltoplay, facebook.com/tooltoplay, twitch.tv/still_got_game, x.com/tooltoplay, which sounds so weird, and kick.com/tooltoplay. And on that,
Still got game.
yes, kick.com/still-got-game, yes. And on that, why don't we wrap this Selden's 70th birthday up? I'm Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I am Chris Selden 007 Selden.
I am Brian Shadow Emmerich.
Oh,
70. Damn, I went low
Yeah.
to 30, but you went way up to 70.
No, we averaged. I went from 50 to 30, and you went from. I went
50 to
from
70.
50 to 70, so that was equal.
Is it the 5-0?
Nah, it's 5-1.
5-1. Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
Right.
Oh, you're so old. I didn't even. I
So
threw you a bone.
Too
there.
old to play for
Yes,
sure.
yes, yeah.
I'm in the over 50 clan now if they still existed or are around, but
Wow.
they may all be dead. No.
No. Whoa.
Ah,
Whoa.
No, we did. I
Wow.
mean, back in the heyday, we had the over 60 and over 70 groups that would every form.
there
every
were
now and
over
then.
40,
Over
50,
70?
60, and 70.
Yeah.
Really?
So
Yeah.
I know some of
70
them
is
are still
gone for
kicking. I still play
sure.
with a couple of them every now and then. So,
Yeah.
but
Wow.
yeah,
I remember
we had some definitely relics.
I remember Deep End. Deep
Depends.
Pens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Depends,
depends. And Old and Achy. Old and
Oh,
Achy.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. A couple other guys too that were just some of the older gamers. They're at that point a lot older than me. Now
Yeah,
I'm
you were like,
about their
look at these
well,
oldies.
yeah,
I
they're
would
like-
never
they're like
want to spend
50?
time with them.
55? No, that's not true.
Yeah.
I played with them. Played Halo. But
Yeah.
yeah, I see them on every once in a while, but not as much anymore. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey.
I'll probably still be playing games though.
By the way, talking about old times, I just called the number to just see if it was active and what was going on with it, and it still has too old to type radios.
Oh, it does. The 7735. Yeah.
It's like nobody's there to answer your call. We're gonna forward you the voicemail of too old to type radio.
We're gonna
Like,
forward it
yeah.
to 2008.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
then
something
I
we can
take my
update or if
time
that's the
machine to
registration.
2008, and I'm like, oh yeah,
This is
I
awesome.
got that. Yeah. Oh,
I was gonna leave a message, but I didn't know I had the right show, so I hung up.
Sultan used to be like our most prolific message leaver ever.
I know.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I would mess up. I'd have to say, wait, delete
then
this
you'd be
one.
like,
I'm gonna call
Don't
back.
listen to this one. See, Shadow, this is something that was outside of your purview. But Sultan would leave a message, and he would be like 2 minutes in, and he'd be like, no, I fucked it up. Stop. Just delete this one. I'm calling right back with a new one. And like sometimes he would leave like 4 in a row.
Because it would time out. It only had a certain life. I had a lot of
No, or you didn't like what you said.
But
And
doesn't it have like a thing where it's like if you like your message, whatever, or if you don't, redo it?
no,
I
but,
didn't
have
but
that.
Sultan didn't get to that point. He was just like,
I rage
fuck it.
quit.
Ignore this one. Hanging up. And then he would call back and he would
It's like I fucked it up. I don't want this played on the radio. No.
oh, I should go back and find all the old downloads.
I
Oh,
called
times.
once. I mean, I sent a message once, but it was a voice thing that I sent through like the email, so it wasn't actually
Yeah.
the phone. So I got it all right, and then I sent it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
wow,
no, Sultans were awesome back in the day. Yes, yeah. He'd be like, this and this. He would get so close to the end, and he'd be like, oh, I fucked it up. Just delete this one. I'm gonna call right back and give you a new one.
Only quality.
I can't believe you just reminded. I completely had forgotten about that. But yeah, that was. Oh, those were good, Sultan. Yeah. What I really should do though is dig down and pull those out, and then. But that's too mean. No, I just can't. All right, so Selden he's got a immunity on those. So.
Woo!
All right, so let's go in the after show.
Who's writing in chat? Who's that?
That's Carlos.
getting like I'm starting to get a lag on the video.
Yes.
Hopefully, it doesn't crash.
Oh no! I still see both you guys in real time.
Yeah, I do too. It's just a little bit of a lag.
Reacher, we're still not quite done with, but we're loving it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
They did announce that season 3 they're going to go back to the single Reacher storyline.
Yeah.
That would be my only complaint about season 2 right now is the multicast. the multi, whatever you want to call it, with the full cast of characters that are involved.
Yes.
I like his storyline from his storyline
I do
perspective, and
too.
that's
Yes,
it.
Yeah.
Like all the other shit is just kind of fluff until it gets back to him type stuff. So
and you saw I sent you the list of books to read in order. So
yes.
Yep. Echo.
Echo, I watched the entire season. I liked it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I liked how it continued on from a previous show. I don't want to spoil it in case you guys haven't watched it yet. So
I have, but Shadow obviously hasn't.
I haven't watched Daredevil yet. I probably will eventually. I tried Echo for about half an episode, and it's one of the shows where, like, because of the sign language and the deafness, you have to like really watch it the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally there'll be like a invisible interpreter person over there like saying the words, but sometimes there won't be.
Right.
But it's also the
so just out of curiosity, what are you what are you doing during these shows where you're not actually watching the show?
I'm sometimes on my laptop, I'm on my phone, whatever, and I sort of like do like both at the same time occasionally.
Yeah, I multitask through almost every show I watch.
So our house has a no multitasking rule. So
I'd watch things by myself.
Well, that's probably how you get away with that, because no one's like, "Hey, fuckhead, watch the show."
Yeah, if I watch something with somebody, I don't do that. And if someone I'm with is on their phone while we're watching something, it annoys me because then they're not paying attention. And they miss something.
Pause,
whatever.
And I'm like, "Hey,
yes, yeah, watch this." No, I get that. But
that's just our militant police state house. Yes,
I think it's because I don't have any purchase into this universe. Really, I watched Jessica Jones, and that's it.
Yeah,
which I liked, but I didn't watch any of the other shows, and so I don't really have any really entry into this universe. I don't really care about it. And then like starting off, I'm like, I don't really like her that much. She's okay. I don't really know what's going on. I don't really care what's. I don't know. I don't want to dump on this show too much. But I just personally, it didn't grab me. I also the whole like cadence of someone who's signing as they're speaking, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. It's just personal preference. That's all. I'm really glad that there's a show for people
Shadow hates deaf people.
Wow, that's what I was getting from
this
point.
This is what we both took away from this. Yep.
That's why I'm saying I'm really glad that the show's here for people who are hearing impaired. I don't know if it's like an OCD thing of mine or what. So
yeah, you guys know. Like before the show starts and we're getting ready for the show, we're like, "Hey, it's still got game. We're ready to do it." And he's like, "I fucking hate deaf people, but I guess we could do a show tonight. But if any of them show up, do we need to put subtitles or some bullshit for them?" And then Selden's like,
"Good night."
Thank God YouTube auto subtitles everything when they watch this.
Yeah. Oh,
anyway,
not everyone hates deaf people as much as Shadow. So yeah, no, like he's got reasons.
So
you want to explain them?
I'm gonna sympathize with Shadow here because the show's a lot more of it's a lot more of a burden, like for those people that multitask, and it's because you have to pay attention to this. You can't multitask during.
Guys, why are you multitasking during shows? Why can't you just sit there and watch a show?
That's how I do. That's how I get things done.
Yeah,
that's how you get 100 hours of shows and 100 hours of movies and 100 hours of video games.
That's how I work on my computer, but also have something on listening in the background. I can't listen to it if I can't hear it.
Yeah, I just watch everything fully, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I multitask through the whole day. Like at work, I have audiobooks going in my ear the entire time.
Yes.
Or I have
podcasts
in the background. You know, if I'm in the office, if I'm at home, I do have a TV. It's playing like I'm going through the Quantum Leap show, but I'm not really watching it. I'm just listening to the Quantum Leap behind me as it's playing on TV. You know, basically the TV space in the other.
Your side work has governmental implications. Like I need you to pay attention.
I am
He
100%. If I did not have some kind of background noise when I'm doing things like spreadsheets and stuff, I would fuck the spreadsheets up.
Yeah.
I would be honest. I I need some kind of other noise going on
Mhm.
besides nothing.
I'm with you, Selden. I'm with you. So anyway, other shows.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
Percy Jackson, awesome. If you're not
Still
Oh,
haven't
we,
started
we,
that,
have,
but
we
I'm
haven't
going to.
started
You have to
that.
watch it.
We keep talking about starting that, but we haven't started that yet.
Yeah, that's the must watch with the family. Like even my son that's gone back to school, it's like we have to all watch it at the same time type thing. So
Cool.
yeah, no,
Yeah, I'll give
it's
it a shot.
it's definitely good. So
yeah, no, we're still
There
stuck
was
on Reacher and on, yeah, there's just too many shows.
well, you got to do two things at once. I hate
there's
No.
there's a show on Max that's a sequel. It's like a second season of a show that came out a while ago. It's called The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, and it's
Oh,
about
I've
this
heard of
girl.
this. Yeah,
You heard of that? Okay, so
yeah.
the new one's it's like season 2 is like Natalia Speak. It's the girl who it's about. It's like I haven't watched that one yet, but I watched the first season recently. My wife had already watched it, and it's about this girl who has dwarfism, and she gets adopted, and the parents who adopt her end up thinking that she's actually an adult, like she's lying about her age and stuff, and like she's
Yeah.
not actually a kid. And
Weird.
I'm not going to spoil it, but it gets really fucked up. It's like 6 episodes, and then the next season that just came out, and I think it just ended, is I think 6 episodes as well. So I gotta watch that too. But
how often did you and your wife get separated from your shows?
what?
Like how
Oh, we
often
watched
do-
that one together.
No, like because you said she watched it without you.
I'm sorry.
Like,
No, you're right. She did watch that one separately. She watched that one. I think it came out, I think, last year or the year before.
yeah, so Tiff and I try to keep up with shows together, but like,
Oh yeah, we don't have the same tastes in
so
shows.
Selden, what do you do? Do you-
most of mine are by myself watching the shows. Or once she
okay.
goes to bed, I'm still
Well,
watching a show and playing on my phone.
well, I mean, you guys got married and you knew what you liked together, and so now that's what you watch together.
Yeah.
You married each other because you really,
I guess, yeah.
you married each other because you really liked the things that you liked, and now that's what you do together. I married my wife when I was 27, and I love her. We don't like the same things a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean, there's
fair
there's
enough.
shows.
That's fair enough. I was just curious as to like how you watch shows without her and how she watches shows without you. And
She watches Housewives. I watch Marvel shows.
okay, yeah,
We watch
fair
some of the
enough.
same things together. We're watching True Detective, the new one that just came out.
I haven't seen any of it yet, but I heard that this season's
It's
too
really
too
crazy.
X-Filesy and terrible.
It's
but-
definitely X-Filesy. Well, and it's not terrible. I like it, but it's very it's more supernatural-ish, I think, than
It's
the
not
any of the other
Alexander
ones.
Dario-ish enough. But
No,
yeah.
no. They're wearing too much clothes. It's cold. Actually, honestly, though, there was a scene. There's already a scene though. No, that there weren't clothes. So
Yeah,
it's not all the
fair
time.
enough.
Not Alexander Daddario level, but yes.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of
Hell
movies
no.
movies and shows I'll watch with my wife that I know she'll like. So I'll watch those with her when
Yes.
if I see something, I'm like, oh, I want to watch that. I'm like, I'll wait for her and watch that together. A lot of the shows
Yes.
I watch, she doesn't want anything to do with, so it's
Yeah.
like it's totally fine for me to watch.
Same,
it myself,
Selden.
so.
Same.
And then
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm more like Tiff because we watch.
You guys chose
almost
each other late in
everything
life,
together.
and you knew what you already liked.
Yes, yeah. We had already done one marriage, and then we got together, and then we had
You're like,
all.
oh, we like this shit.
yeah,
That's why we like each
we like
other.
all this shit. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So-
Exactly.
I mean, the one show I did watch with my wife recently that I wasn't sure she was going to be in was that really bloody Santa movie. Not Bad Santa.
Violent
it was
Night?
Oh,
Violent Night.
Violent
yeah.
Night.
I was
That's
like,
great.
I'm like, it's a Christmas movie. You'll like it, I'm sure.
did you
I don't
not
know if I
watch
watched
that
that with her or
last
not.
year?
It was
Yeah,
last Christmas.
yeah, it was last
Oh,
year,
last. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like that was the one show that is way out of her realm of things to watch. But I was like, I might be able to get away with this, and she liked it. So
All right, let's see. What do we watch together? Euphoria. White
Wow.
Lotus. I mean, yeah, we just started watching Euphoria. We finished it. White Lotus, Righteous Gemstones. I don't know. Bachelorette sometimes. Only
Yeah.
Murders in the Building.
Only
Morning
Murders.
Show.
Like we love Only
Yeah,
Murders. We Golden
great.
Bachelor. We watched.
I didn't watch that. She watched that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Morning Show, Fargo.
No,
Yeah,
we're
there's a
not at
lot. Sex
Morning
Lives of
Show
College
yet.
Girls,
Not at Fargo
Hacks.
yet. Not Hacks. No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
The
me,
Bear. The
me
Bear
and the
is
wife
great.
will every Adam Sandler movie we'll watch together. Every Kevin Smith movie we'll watch together.
Ah.
So I got to run
Perhaps, did
those.
you know that I am friends with Kevin Smith?
No, I didn't know that. Anyway,
Oh no!
so
Well, let me tell
the
you.
other
Who's
show
that?
we like to watch is we'll watch the Virgin River
Kevin
show. We'll watch
Smith.
Survivor and any kind of reality TV together. So and we do have a bunch of shows that we watch together. It's just I know some of the shows that MCU stuff she could care less.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah,
with
for sure.
space she doesn't give a shit about. So
Shrinking we watched together. That's really good.
Oh,
Yellow
we
Jackets.
still need to see that. Oh, Yellow Jackets. Tiff wouldn't watch because she knew what it was about, but I love Yellow Jackets.
Life and Beth was pretty funny. That's what's her name? Comedian. Amy Schumer, she's in that.
Oh.
That's coming back in like a couple weeks on Hulu.
Yeah. No,
Horror
I like
Story
Amy
and
Schumer.
Horror Stories we watch. Yeah, we watch a lot of stuff. It's just that I watch a lot of stuff on my
There's a like Yellow Jackets adjacent show. It's something on Netflix that's about
Really?
that Andy's plane crash where
Alive.
the soccer players.
No, it's
all-
not. Alive was the shitty one where they like.
Well, that was from like the 90s.
Yes, it was like
seen that.
sensationalized, and there's some new one that apparently is supposed to be amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. Like
Go to my
based
phone.
upon that
Yeah.
accident.
based upon the soccer players that
Yep.
the
Go to my phone.
male soccer
and
team.
then,
Oh, wow. Okay.
Netflix,
That could be cool.
Andy's plane
Yes.
crash. Oh, it's called Society of the Snow.
Oh, okay.
This thing is supposed to be everything that Alive did wrong. This is supposed to be the thing that like just breaks you.
Oh, good. I need one of those.
I mean, Yellow Jackets broke me
Yellow
pretty
Jacket.
well.
Yeah.
But Yellow Jackets was a fictitious thing, and this is a
Yeah.
real thing. So yeah, it was they were trying to undo everything that that Alive did wrong.
I didn't feel like it was such a big that there was anything wrong with Alive. I just watched it recently again.
Well, Alive was
bad for-
more of like trying to pitch it as like an action thing and to put certain people as bad guys and certain people as good guys, and
Okay.
this other thing is more of like
Is it Spanish? Looks like.
It's on Netflix, right? Carlos
it's
is asking
Spanish,
what platform.
yeah.
It's probably, I'm assuming, subtitle.
I don't know,
it's
but I've heard
Spanish.
it's amazing. So
La
I don't think I can watch
Sociedad de la
shows in a
Nieve.
different language. It's going to screw up my Netflix metrics.
Yeah, that's the thing is that like that's the thing with Echo. It's like if everything was subtitled, I would just watch the subtitles. But when
Yeah.
I don't know if there's going to be subtitles or not, or if I don't
Yeah.
know if there's going to be audio or not, that's what screws me up.
No.
I can watch a whole movie subtitle. I went and saw Godzilla -1, which is great.
oh yeah,
That was all
you were
subtitled.
going to see that, yeah. So that was
Yeah.
good.
Really good, yeah.
Did you hear my story of Coda? The movie
deaf
Coda,
movie?
the kids of
Yeah.
adult. Like, yeah, I watched like half that movie without realizing that I could turn subtitles on. And it was a good movie, not knowing trying to figure out what they were saying. And I'm like, oh my
How
god,
do you even get halfway
No.
through a movie without?
because it's not real. It's not like standard American Standard language. They're using their own Coda language, and you're able to figure out a lot of that movie without having the subtitles on. and trying to figure out what their hand. It actually made the movie. I concentrated the shit out of that movie because I had to pay attention
Because you
trying to
didn't
figure out
understand what the fuck was going
know.
on. Yes.
I thought it was
Wow.
an interesting experience to go through the movie that way. I was like, you know what? I don't think I would have traded that for the world. I mean, I definitely added a lot of depth to the movie from my watching. So
Cool.
Fair enough.
That's good. Yeah.
All right. Well, Shadow needs to eat soon.
I ate already.
Oh, you did. Oh, you ate early.
Zelda
Yes.
needs to. Yeah, I always eat before.
Zelda
needs to have a
to
birthday.
go enjoy the rest of his birthday. So,
Yeah, that was a 2-hour show.
yeah,
ooh, good.
we did
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
So why don't we wrap this episode 515 after show up? And we don't do our call outs for this. It's like,
Yep,
yeah,
that's it.
guys, we'll see you later. We'll see you next
Bye.
week.
See ya.
See ya.
All
I
right.
do. All right, now that the after show is on, I do have a question for you, real quick, about your Bartesian.
Yeah.
Do you ever open up the water well in the back